There will be times that pop up from time to time where you wish you were still working when you're retired. What? Not me, man. What are you talking about? Yes, you. There will be times, guys. I've been doing this for almost 5 years now, my retirement. Not all the time, but it comes up. And I'm just talking about not just talking about jobs that you love. There could have been some jobs that you hated, but there were parts of it, aspects of it that you miss from time to time. Leave me comments, guys. Has this happened to you? I know it is. Be honest. Let us know, because I'm being wide open on this. It has happened to me. So what I've got for you today is 5 times during retirement where this can crop up. There are certain instances in retirement where this may pop up in your mind. Well, yeah, I remember that. God, I miss that. I wish I was still doing that. Before I get to that, let me give you an example of that. When I was working in the music industry, as you see behind me, those plaques that I have, every Friday morning, 9 a.m., every Friday, 9 a.m., we would have an hour-long meeting. Okay, they would provide us with pastries, sometimes like full breakfasts, drinks, not alcoholic drinks, but coffee, juice, stuff like that. And for the first 10, 15 minutes, they would go through the new music coming out that week, the next coming week, because these were weekly meetings. There could be descriptions of, who helped make the video, who helped make the album, all that kind of stuff. Then we would have guests. Sometimes we would have guest directors of the video. Sometimes we would have guest music producers that made the actual album. But the best time was we had actual artists come in and talk to us, and sometimes even sing a couple songs. We never forced them to sing a song. It's just like whatever you feel comfortable with. I remember I saw Taylor Swift right after we signed her when she was 16. Okay, she came into the room, pretty young girl. Okay, she had a good voice. Not a great voice, but a good voice. Songs were pretty good. She sang 2 songs. They were catchy. And then she left. And afterwards, I was talking to a friend going, that's pretty good. Oh, yeah, not bad. I think it could do good on the country charts. And then he said, did you know she writes her own music? Bingo! There was a star. A star was born. 16 years old, writes her own music. Looks like that, sounds like that. Boom. There were other artists. We had Erykah Badu come in. We had Toby Keith come in. U2 came in. I mean, all kinds of artists. And it wasn't every week, but I miss those days. I really miss it. And these 5 things I'm going to tell you, the times they pop up, stuff like that pops up to me all the time because it was so much fun. So first of all, if you guys are seeing me for the first time, my name is Duane, and this is a retirement channel for people on moderate income. If that's something you think you might like, think about liking the video and think about subscribing as well. And if you really lay it down, here are 2 other ways to support this channel. So 5 times in retirement where it could crop up. That thought could pass your mind. You know what? I miss working because of this. Here's the first time. First example, it's 9 a.m. and you've got nothing planned for the rest of the day. Nothing planned, man. It's like, sometimes that's okay, right? Sometimes you're like, I'm just going to rest today, going to read a little, maybe watch a little TV, work in the garden. But other times you're bored out of your mind, right? It's 9 a.m. You're like, how am I going to get through the rest of this? That is a time where you may miss working. And again, not just jobs that you loved. It could be a job that you didn't really like. But if you're honest with yourself, even in those bad jobs, there were parts of that job that I'm sure you enjoyed, right? It could have been, I don't know, a 2-hour-long lunch that they gave you every Friday. I don't know, just hypothetical thing, right? That could be something. It could be a coworker that you really miss, even though it was at a toxic job. That's one time it can crop up when you get the rest of the day to do whatever and you have nothing to do whatever. Number 2, in retirement, a lot of getting the joy out of retirement is getting joy out of simple things. Okay, I find myself doing that a lot now. Looking at my succulents. I love raising succulents here up in the high desert. I get joy out of watching them grow. Okay, sometimes it takes a long time. They're slow growers, but I get joy out of that. I get joy out of their deer on my property. Recently, there was a doe that just gave birth on my property. I didn't see it. I saw her one evening with two tiny little baby fawns. Okay, simple thing, just nature, right? Or it could be like, I don't know, you got a new chair and you love your new chair. You know what, guys? A lot of the things in retirement are simple things. There could be times where you're like, God, man, I remember that project I did and I got a lot of accolades from my company over that. And it was a complex thing. It took you a couple months to do this project. You don't get a lot of that stuff. You don't get a lot of those challenges in retirement, right? It's a lot of joy in retirement is simple things. You were challenged at work, at least I know I was. And those times where you felt good after completing a challenge, now in the beginning, it could have been a pain in the butt because you're looking at how much work it was going to be. You had a lot of pressure on you. But at the end, if you did a good job and some accolades came your way, yeah, I know I miss that. Number 3, you're craving that every morning Starbucks mocha and banana nut bread that you got on the way to work. That was me. Every morning, I got a mocha and either banana nut bread or a pumpkin loaf. Every single morning. And why did I say I could do that? To reward myself for getting up at 6 a.m. and being to work at 6:30 every single day. Sometimes I didn't even feel like going into work, guys, but I knew that Starbucks was there to start me off. Now, in my case at least, I have cut out Starbucks. Why? It's expensive. Retiring on a moderate income retirement. I don't want to waste that money. So I go to Starbucks now 2-3 times a month. Usually when I'm going back and forth between LA, halfway I'll stop and I'll get something at Starbucks. Okay? I miss that. I miss allowing myself to get that as a reward from getting up early and going to work. That's what work did for me. At that time, it was at a job. The last couple of jobs I didn't really like, but every morning I would go up and I would reward myself with a Starbucks. Now I feel guilty about doing that. I feel like it's a waste of money. Why not just make your coffee at home? That's another time, at least for me, it crops up where I miss work. Now that wasn't work directly, indirectly, but still. Number 4, you're taking care of an elder parent, and in the past, you couldn't take care of them all the time because you had a job. Now, this is kind of one that makes you feel guilty, right? I know when I was taking care of my mom, when I was still working, but I was working remote. They let me work remote. There were times, I will be honest, where I wish I was still working. Why? Because I didn't have to spend 24/7 there with my mom. Yes. Is that a bad thing to say? Hey, I'm just being honest. Okay. There were times, not that many times, but there were times. In retirement, you may have to do that. You may have to take care of a elder parent who is ailing. That could be one of those times where you miss working. It could be a guilty thought, but still, you miss working because of that, because you didn't have to be there 24/7, right? And I'm sure, at least with me, if you're not there 24/7 taking care of them, you're probably in a better mood when you are taking care of them, right? Yes, I know that's a negative one, but let's be honest here. And number 5, this is no specific time, but if you're anything like me, it's like at random times, thoughts will just pop up in your mind. Why? Because you got all the time in the world to just think in retirement. Thoughts will just pop up in your mind. It's like, oh yeah, I remember when we used to do that. Oh yeah, I remember that group we had that was working on that project. Man, those were some good people. You miss part of work, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. It's a normal feeling. You miss part of work. So you're retired. Who cares? Who says that those thoughts can't crop up from time to time, right? It could be any little thing that you remember just randomly out of the blue that whacks you up on top of the head and just says, oh yeah. I remember when I would come back on Fridays, I would drive through the park on my way home, on my commute. I miss that. You're not doing it now because you don't have to take that commute to work, right? So just any random time, those things can pop up from time to time. Now, can negative things pop up about work where you go, damn, I'm glad I'm not doing that anymore? Yes, but it happens. So there you go, guys. So those of you claiming that no, you never miss work, I don't believe you. Leave us comments. And as always, from the lovely high desert, we got this.